Trees are living symbols of peace and hope. A tree has roots in the soil yet reaches to the sky. It tells us that in order to aspire, we need to be grounded, wrote the incredible Wangari Maathai in her memoir Unbowed. On April 1st, 1940, a baby girl named Wangari from Nyeri, a rural area in Kenya, was born. She grew up facing certain economic struggles, but she remained inclined to obtain an education and pursue bigger dreams. Wangari Maathai expressed that she is eternally grateful to her mother for allowing her to attend school even when it was not the norm for women to do so. Being able to attend school and be surrounded by the environmental beauty of Nyeri allowed Wangari to develop an interest in learning more about the natural world. In the early 1950s, Maathai was sent to boarding school for her protection as a guerrilla war for independence began in Kenya. As she completed her early schooling in high school, new opportunities arose as the colonial era in Africa was coming to an end. Scholarships became available for African students to study in the United States, and Wangari took the opportunity, leading her to study biological sciences at Mount St. Scholastica College in Atchison, Kansas. Her education would further expand into her obtaining her master's degree and later her PhD. This led Wangari Maathai to become the first woman in East and Central Africa to earn a doctorate. This inspired her to return home and create the biggest environmental movement in Kenya with a worldwide impact. Professor Wangari Maathai became the founder of the Green Belt Movement, also known as the GBM, in 1977, while being part of the National Council of Women in Kenya. At that time, the women in Kenya were facing various problems such as the drying up of their wells, scarce firewood, and lack of food security. Thus, Maathai outlined the Green Belt Movement's mission as combating the environmental problems Kenya was facing due to deforestation by its government. The grassroots organization began by providing Kenyan women with seedlings to cultivate because trees fight soil erosion, collect rainfall, and provide firewood and food. The women were compensated for their labor, which also helped with the ongoing poverty crisis. Thus, the movement extended beyond its environmental origins, defending the rights of women by allowing them to take control of their lives and better their living conditions. The GBM allowed women to get jobs and obtain a sense of independence to break away from the social norms that limit women to domestic work. Alongside the National Council of Women in Kenya, the GBM provided various resources to Kenyan women concerning family planning, nutrition, and leadership. Women became and remained the face of the Green Belt Movement due to Maathai's emphasis on involving them, leading her to gain the nickname Tree Mother of Africa. As time progressed, the movement focused on spreading awareness of the need to protect the environment through holding seminars discussing civic and environmental education. The movement's hosting of the seminars has carried into present-day projects, renamed Community Empowerment and Education, allowing communities to learn about the social, political, and economic factors that coincide with environmental protection. Maathai's overall message for such communities emphasized how environmental health is a human right, thus it must be fought for in the same way. Eventually, the Pan-African Greenbelt Network arose from the GBM in 1986, allowing the work for environmental protection to spread beyond the borders of Kenya, leading the movement's leaders and members to protest the construction of a luxury apartment tower in Nairobi's Uhuru Park, thus threatening to privatize a public green space. Maathai and the women protesting took this issue to court. Although the court sided with the developers, the GBM was able to spread the protests in Uhuru Park, which led the Kenyan president to stop the plans for construction due to widespread public opposition. This successful campaign inspired later protests against the privatization of Karura Forest in Nairobi. After these events, Maathai became a major target of the government, leading her to be in prison on multiple occasions and even face assassination attempts. However, no matter the problems Wangari Maathai encountered along the way, her work has continued to grow even beyond her death in 2011. In 2002, Maathai became part of Kenya's parliament, and in 2004 she received the Nobel Peace Prize for her contributions to sustainable development, democracy, and peace. Through these accomplishments, the Green Belt Movement was further recognized and supported on the international stage. The GBM spread to the US, the UK, West India, Japan, and South America. Professor Maathai was recognized by the UN as a UN Messenger of Peace. She wrote 4 books, founded an institute for environmental research, and much more. The Green Belt Movement today continues to carry out Maathai's vision, successfully signing up hundreds of thousands of women to join the movement, creating 5,000 nurseries, and planting over 51 million trees. What began as a small effort to improve her hometown and help women in Kenya by planting trees became the biggest environmental and humanitarian movement in Africa that has inspired millions across the continent and the world.
You are doing. And the hummingbird said, I'm doing the best I can. And for me, and I hope for you, that's all we can do. Whoever we are, wherever we are, there is something in our lives that we can do. No matter how small it is, collectively, it will make a difference. So be a hummingbird in your community, wherever you are. Thank you very much.